Be prepared, that's the Boy Scout marching song. Be prepared, follow it, you won't go wrong. Be prepared to hold your liquor pretty well. Don't write naughty words on walls if you can't spell. Be prepared to hide that pack of cigarettes. Don't make book if you cannot cover bets. If you're looking for adventure of a new and different kind, and you come across a Girl Scout who is similarly inclined, don't be nervous, don't be flustered, don't be scared. Be prepared. See, they don't teach you that anymore. And
I could sell that bad boy to Cialis. That would be a great...
Oh.
All right, back on it.
Cialis and Ambien, by the way. You know, I got him confused the other day. I was up all night. Thank you.
So you're a Boy Scout?
Indeed I was. Eagle Scout. Distinguished Eagle Scout. You know what we did? I remember one year at Broad Creek, summer camp we used to go to. I came into the possession of a blockbuster, which is basically a big firecracker. Tied it to the clapper of a bell high up on a hill that they used to ring for dinner. Lit cigarette, put it on the fuse, gave me about a half hour to get back to camp in bed. Laying there in my sleeping bag, knowing that eventually that thing was going to blow up, was one of the most delicious half hours of my life. And when it blew up, again, big noise, big sound, followed by a clapping of the bell at about 3 in the morning. Caused quite the stir. There was an inquiry. People were called. I kept my head down. Fortunately, I wasn't summoned because a scout is honest, and I would have had to tell the truth. But of course, a scout in those days was also mildly duplicitous, so I just kept my mouth shut, made a very private journal entry.
What's the most cowardly act you've ever seen?
I really think the biggest cowardly acts today are those moments where people just stand quietly by and watch some indignity, large or small, happen right in front of them, and they don't say anything. You see that happening. It's happening right now, in fact. Your question is appalling, and I want to come back at you and set you straight, but my cowardice forbids it. I can't reach him from here, Sean, so if you could throw an elbow, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
What do you do to get rid of sadness?
I like to read poetry when I'm feeling a little melancholy. And I don't know why, because it doesn't really make me feel better. But it's just something I do. It's like throwing gas on a fire. I enjoy it. Dickinson, Emily Dickinson. If you're feeling a little down, Emily Dickinson. And Sylvia Plath, also funny people.
One more thing.
You know what? In the long history of recorded time, never has the expression "one more thing" been followed by just one more thing.
If you could put yourself in your dream car with your dream other, what would the dream car and what would the other be?
Now, there are no other parameters on the question, right? So it could be a chariot. I could be in a chariot with Ben-Hur.
You could be in space with Sandra Bullock.
Did you see that movie, by the way, Gravity?
Her legs look great.
Right? When she's all upside down in the fetal position, hanging there in zero gravity. Thank you.
Was that even in space?
I don't know. But I saw that, took me right out of the hole. Not since Sigourney Weaver, right? Started walking around in her little panties and Alien. Was I so distracted by a woman in space, hovering in midair.
It's a good thing you didn't flip-flop your pills during that movie.
No kidding. It would have been awkward for the people next to me as well. Oh, he's really into this film. Say, isn't that Mike? No, that's not Mike Rowe. To answer your question, it was the first vehicle I actually ever owned. I was in high school. It was a Honda Civic. And back in those days, they looked like the smart cars do today. I'd pull it out of a box of cornflakes. My best friend in high school was a kid named Jeff Wilson. Jeff weighed about 260 pounds. Big, gentle, giant. And to see him jam into this little Honda Civic with me driving, it just always made me laugh. And Jeff and I used to have these great conversations, listening to the 8-track in the Honda Civic. And then one day, out on 695, Beltway around Baltimore, I got a flat tire. Got out to change the tire. And I had one of those tiny donuts in the back. It was a little cartoon car anyway, a little cartoon tire, and I got to change the tire, but I don't have it, Jack. Jeff is so daggone big, and the car is so daggone small, he can lift the back of it. So he turns around, and he picks it up by the bumper, and I change the tire. A weird thing to do. A weird, lonely, strange, sort of pathetic thing in hindsight. And yet, to answer your question, in this clearly protracted manner. That's what I would do again. I'd take a ride with my old friend Jeff in a little tiny car and let him hold the back end of it while I change a tire. Life just seems simpler then. So my name's Mike Rowe. That's M-I-K-E space R-O-W-E. My middle name is Gregory. Nobody ever calls me that. Just Mike or Mike Rowe is fine. MikeRoweWorks.com. I don't want to overstate it, but study after study shows when people go to MikeRoweWorks.com, they come away enriched, buoyant, smarter, happier, more self-actualized, and brimming with the kind of optimism that no other site can give you. Don't want to overstate it, but that's MikeRoweWorks.com.